Hey babes, it's Toke and Talk day. I have already toked and I'm ready to talk. So join me with the toking whenever you're ready to talk. I went live for TMI Tuesday yesterday in the Vibrant Coven, and what came through was this total understanding that the don't touch me energy that I've been carrying around in my soul for many years because of being harassed and assaulted since I was a young girl. It's really taken a toll on how I choose to protect myself. And I say taken a toll as in I closed myself off out of self-protection, but also there's something so integral to who I am, which is seeing the victimhood in everybody. And this is where my inner well of wisdom comes through. Yesterday, I was totally crying on the Vibrant Coven on TMI Tuesday. I'm doing the same thing that I was last night. I'm doing a does anybody else do this with their fabric, with their clothing? I would do this when I was tired and falling asleep, or I would do this, I've done this when I've been anxious or talking about something that takes a lot of other physical efforts to even think about. In the Vibrant Coven, I get to be the divine child, knowing that everybody is a child of God, and that's why I get to be so powerfully, righteously sad and angry when the material structures of this world have stripped my fellow siblings of their ability to feel things and feel connected to others. And in this space, I love that I get to wake up the next day for Toke and Talk Wednesday and go into the hag space, have my child space where I'm crying and upset and just wishing on stars, and then coming here and saying, this is the lesson, here is the guidance. I'm pulling from my inner well of wisdom, and what the well of wisdom is saying is, although there have been years and years and years and years of building layers around me and my emotional self, as well as my sexual self, as well as my mental self, my physical self, all of these layers and protections have built up over the years because the material world, the capitalist structure that, kind of boxes us all in, had made me feel wow, I'm gonna feel so much safer if I just build boxes inside of this box and just keep doing this. And the problem with that was I was shrinking myself. I was putting myself in extreme anxiety, extreme social anxiety. I used to have a very hard time going out by myself, not having other people come with me. And maybe there's that whole thing that girls are taught, which is go with a partner, always take a buddy with you to the bathroom. That's not just a social thing, that is a self-protective thing. And at this point in my life, I see how really making myself small and saying that it's out of protection is such a false version of me, because that means that I'm out of integrity with even trying to paint a picture of what the other person who needs to do something so horrible, like, you know, that grabbing somebody and yelling at somebody and taking somebody else's body by force, you know that that's wrong. You know that that's wrong. That's why men deny it. If it were right and if it were okay, then they would be like, yeah, I do that. But they're ashamed of it and they feel guilty about it. So they know that it's wrong. And at the same time, why would someone feel like they had no other choice or no other claim to any other action or behavior than to do that kind of thing? Where are they coming from with that? And I talked about my theories last night during TMI Tuesday, that it's essentially because they didn't have, hi babe, they didn't have this permission when they were younger to get like physical affection or even words of affirmation, affection, hearing and saying the words I love you, as well as actually like being held and being allowed to need a hug when they cry or when they're upset. There's been this suppression of boys or masculine presenting children. There has been this suppression of being like a full human, a fully formed human. And that really sucks. That's really fucked up. Because then what their experience turns into is feeling like they're boxed in as well. And what they're doing is trying to physically aggress their way out of the box, because that's the only way that that's the only like tool that they've been given. Here's your tool for the box that we're going to give you. It's physical aggression. It's also acts of service and gifts. The only things that you can give and receive from other people are like material gifts, because you're a provider and you're meant to be the one who's bringing in the bacon, and also acts of service. You have to show how you can solve problems and how you can come in and save others. These are your tools for how you can show love to others and how you can show up in the world as yourself. And like I said, girls and women were like, here's your box, here are your tools. You get lace and ribbon and stuffed animals. You get like all of these soft things to pad the box so that the boys on the other side trying to break through don't bruise you and don't crush your fragile, sensitive being. There's so much fucked upness that women experience and really have felt because of all of those layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of trying to protect ourselves, when in reality we've just been shrinking ourselves, trying to become a smaller target. And that means that instead of seeing ourselves as a target, because I've seen myself as a target, I feel like my butt has been a target since my mom started giving it attention, since boys started giving it attention, since a teacher told me to pull my pants up and my shirt down. But the fucked upness is like for everyone. So we as feminists, if you consider yourself a woman, a femme, or a feminine presenting person, or any not masculine presenting person who believes in feminism, you know that we need it so that we can stop being targets. But I really truly believe that the boys and men need it more than we do, because when they start recognizing that their fists are not the best tools for every single problem, that their dicks are not the best tools for every single problem, they start to hold space for themselves again and start to see, wow, I've been trying to break out of this box, and the only thing I've actually been doing is breaking into other people's boxes and destroying theirs. So they know that the box is for everybody. Everybody who is not the 1%, who are above the law, who are beyond justice, who can pay to be any version of any person that they want to be. For some reason, they're the only ones who have this superpower. Everybody else is in boxes. Everybody else is in those cardboard boxes. And they're so easy to smash down once we all realize that we're children who have been separated from our true nature. And if we all just start to rip down the walls of the boxes and really look each other in the eye and be like, oh my gosh, I thought I was alone this whole time. Wow, it's you. Wow, it's you. Wow, it's you. And building a big old fort out of the cardboard box and turning it into a giant slumber party where we're all actually sharing our fears, all actually talking about our dreams, all actually caring for and about each other. Things would change. Things are changing. Things are changing! And so it is. But I wanted to come and really express in this token talk after yesterday's TMI Tuesday in the Coven that this epiphany of don't touch me versus I'm not allowed to touch anything. The thing that boys learn is I'm not allowed to touch anything unless it's with my dick or it's with violence, is just as painful, just as restrictive, just as oppressive, and is a part of the essentially fake world that was constructed by the top 1% of wealthiest people in the country so that they can keep living exactly where they're at and we can keep fighting each other and being confused about what's really going on and who's really responsible for all of this. We know who's responsible. And we want to point the blame at men. We want to say all men are trash. And I love that saying. I love men are trash, not all men are trash, but I love saying men are trash because they've been calling us hoes and sluts and bitches and skanks and whores for eternity, for a long time. And they could take it a little bit. They could start to understand. They could start to feel the shame of being on the other side, of feeling like people see you as trash. Because that's where empathy comes from. Empathy comes from feeling the experiences, so when you see them again, you're like, oh my gosh, I recognize that emotion. I recognize that feeling. Now I know what it feels like to be oppressed. Now I know what it feels like to feel shamed about something that I don't need to be shamed for. That I actually did, that it's not my fault that I am this way. It's everybody's responsibility to do something about it, though. As much as it pains me to see men also as people that I'm kind of afraid to work with, if I'm being honest and if I'm being transparent and totally squishy right now, I'm honestly afraid sometimes. Like, I see somebody come on to my live and they look like a masculine presenting person, maybe a man. My first instinct is, gosh, I hope they're not here to tell me I'm pretty. Gosh, I hope they don't do any heart eyes emojis at me right now, because that's really going to distract me and upset me. The first thing that I think of is being attacked. And I would like to continue cultivating in this space and with you all, because I think this is our work, not just my work. I would love to continue cultivating a sense of familiarity with calling ourselves out on the things that make us uncomfortable and that we're afraid of in the moment, and using that as a jumping point where instead of one person being up here and another person down here, we're all on the trampoline together and we're like, whoa, I'm bouncing so high. I'm like afraid, but it's a good feeling to share these fears with other people in a space where we can laugh through it. Like, laughter medicine is my thing. And that's how I know too that I'm meant to work with men, and that I'm meant to be speaking directly to and with masculine presenting people and all people, is because laughter is that one medicine that everybody could use a little bit more in their life. And this inner well of wisdom, this inner hag, this inner crone, this inner wise woman who lives within me, has the biggest, grandest sense of humor. So I know that if you're watching this, either live or in the replay, that you're one of our people. You're a laughter person, a laughter is medicine person. And I can guarantee you, as these TMI Tuesdays continue in the Vibrant Coven, as these token talks on Wednesday continue, where I just like sit and smoke and just like whatever comes to mind, I get to share with you all, and hopefully you share with me how it's resonating with you. The more that this goes on, I can very much feel that it's going to do a lot of laughter healing. It's going to provide a lot of compassionate laughter healing, so that we're not just sitting here afraid of each other and afraid to share the same space with each other because we're afraid to fuck up or afraid to say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing. We can just say, don't touch me, and I'm afraid that I'll never get to touch somebody unless I'm in a one-on-one relationship with somebody. Like, laying everything all out. Trusting each other with the fact that we all have this secret shit that we're ashamed of, that we're just not talking about because we're not hearing anybody else talking about it. And if we can start talking about it, then we actually get to a space where we're like, whoa, now that the shame is gone, it's like there are bubbles living inside of me, because now I know there are other people who get it. Even if they don't know what I'm talking about, they get it. Nobody is free from the toxic poison that guilt and shame and fear feels like. But I'm like thinking of ayahuasca. If anyone has done plant medicine in especially a group ceremony, you'll know that there's a lot of throwing up that happens. And it's often good. It's often just like releasing these horrible beliefs that are just coming straight out of you. It's like when we have that toxic poison in us and we all agree to take the laughter medicine, it's like we all get to throw up together and then laugh about it later. Like, oh, look at us, we're all throwing up, like we're all releasing this. Wow. Don't you feel better after? And now, let's laugh about how long we've each been holding on to these stupid ass things that weighed us down until now. That's what I'm here for. That's the space that I intend to cultivate. That's where I would like you all to go with me. So, you are welcome on this journey. All of you is welcome here. All of your you-ness is welcome here and encouraged to come out so we can all get to that beautiful space where we really see each other beyond the cardboard boxes. Totally broken down. If you missed the first part of this Instagram live, it's going to be live for another 24 hours, and also I'm going to be putting a clip of it, because I can't put the whole thing, clip of it on IGTV later this week. So come and reconnect and let me know how this resonated for you. I would love to hear if you can send me a DM after this and let me know how all of this resonated for you. I love token talks. Like it just takes things to a whole other place. So I love you. You are deserving of all the love you desire. And I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful rest of your day. I'm gonna hit the rest of this bowl and get to work.